I was on a job late one summer where the heat just beat down on you relentlessly. Days of swimming through steamy air so thick you could just drink it. You don't sleep, but you're never really awake either. No rest for the wicked, huh? Anyways, I was a little tight for cash and finally took up this job that I'd been stalling on. Some worrywart landlords called me up saying they had this bad premonition about something being off with their tenants. You know, things that go bump in the night kinda shit. I didn't know what to think, as they didn't give me a whole lot to go on, but I needed the dough. Soon enough, I found myself in this nasty-ass corner of town where the cats seemed to rule above all else. I didn't see another human soul the whole time I was down in that dump, and fair enough, the place reeked of piss baked for days in the merciless sun, and in other places the dog shit had become part of the asphalt. It was awful. And wasn't just the piss, you know. The whole job was starting to stink to me. Half the place was all boarded up and fallen down from neglect. I was beginning to wonder why such a moneyed and prospective young couple would renovate in such a hole. Maybe they thought it was coming up in the world. I sure as hell doubted that would happen. But to business. Once I'd made sure no one was home, I worked my magic on the lock. It was fairly easy to crack, as I was confident that no one had locked the door in the first place, but you gotta keep up appearances in this line of work. I was getting paid fair handsome to frolic around in this esteemed neighborhood, and then I was in. Straight away I started to understand the whole theory about your surroundings becoming you, and vice versa. The place was in shambles, an eccentric bunch so to speak, with an apparent appetite for obscure hobbies. The kid had a hell of a workshop, but so long as he was paying the rent, who could care less? It's not like there are any neighbors around to frustrate with power tools late at night. So I went up into the unknown. Danger lurking round every corner, and I had no idea what I was walking into. Well, what could I say? You make do with what you have. And you could tell that they'd really tried to put some soul into that crummy box. It felt like a goddamn country fair in that place. Despite the fluffy appearance, I was apprehensive, not to say concerned for my own well-being. What if these hippies had left a nasty surprise for me somewhere? I know these artistic types tend to be obsessed with privacy, but in retrospect I guess I was just being paranoid. Or I could have guessed, vegans. And strange home-baked confectionaries in the oven too. And in the cupboards, lentils. God, I hate lentils. And wacky pot plants everywhere. Heck, they'd even made the light shades fruity too. I was starting to feel at a total loss. The clients had made out that these kids were a gang of reckless hooligans for making the soulless flat they were stuck in more like a home than just a sterile passive income trap. What a bunch of clowns. For €490 a month you could find better shit to whine about. I tell you, some people have more money than sense. I was supposed to be documenting the alleged state of destruction this flat was in, but I was struggling to find anything that would make a solid case. To my eyes, nothing so far was busted. In fact, the more I took in the place, the more I felt that the flat itself was busted. Flawed by design, riddled with oversights. Take the gents. Where you meant to wash your hands after the dirty work? The kitchen sink? Far from inspiring. These schmucks had rushed the place to get some tenants in for that sweet moolah, and now they had tenants they wanted to get rid of them. Bunch of turkeys. And I noticed each room was equipped with at least one of these lousy electric heaters that you can't even make toast with. Hence the secondary heater that the tenants brought in. Damn, it must get cold there during the winter. Sure glad I ain't living there. I pressed on. There was a whole floor upstairs I hadn't inspected yet, and time was ticking. Similar story to downstairs. Inadequate storage, poor natural lighting, evidence of untamed hobbies, and what a depressing view. It's just dog shit and crackheads down there, and ruined houses all round. It's always weird walking into a stranger's house. It's like reading someone's journal. You get a fairly intimate gauge on what's going on in someone's life, and here I was, right in the thick of it. I figured I wasn't gonna snitch. I liked something about the charming chaos these kids lived in. It had a sort of sincerity that's hard to come by these days. This world ain't built for fairies and dreamers, and I guess that's why I felt an unexpected affinity for these people. Their home felt like an act of resistance. Every year I feel like this big ol' ugly world loses a little more soul. God knows it's the same with me. But to see this little rat's nest of a shrine to the human spirit did something to me. You see, it's too easy to hate people who still have something that you lost years ago, and I reckon it's got a lot to do with why this world is so damn ugly in the first place. It's exactly 'cause people just do what's easy. Anyway, one last place to check. I shimmied up that ladder and boy, what a sight. I just walked into an open-heart carpentry operation. These kids were nuts. What the hell were they doing? Didn't even make sense. Every time I thought I had them figured out, they'd give me the slip. When I thought they'd zig, they'd zag. It just didn't make any sense. But I guess that's just it. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. I still think about it from time to time. Whenever I'm in a lousy street, trying not to step in the dog shit, I wonder what might be inside one of those houses, and if some dreamboat has shored up a whimsical little Garden of Eden behind all that grime and filth outside. I guess that's exactly it. A home should be a fortress against the wickedness in the world. It's one of the only places where you can decide outcome. Just feel, even for a few minutes, that maybe there are some things in our control and some things worth saving.